Soon to be famous, top of the heap. Soon to be famous, my autograph's still cheap. Soon to be famous, you don't know me yet. I'm an up-and-coming superstar that you haven't met.
Hi, and welcome to Soon to be Famous. I'm Dennis Stout.
I'm Dave Allen.
We're
Stout and Allen.
And Soon to be Famous is a musical variety show that Dave and I host. For those of you who've never seen the show before, what we do is every week we have on a guest artist, and it's usually a friend of ours that has been struggling in the music industry for a few years, and they haven't made it to the top yet, but they're soon to be famous.
That's right. There's a whole wealth of people out there that are very talented, and we feel rival some of the best of the famous names in the industry.
That's right, Dave.
And we're going to have a few of them on for you. Right now, we're going to do a tune ourselves that was written by a good friend of ours, Chris Wall, who is, of all things, a bartender. And he wrote this song while he was bartending one evening in Little Train Depot, which also happens to be a bar down in San Juan Capistrano. And it was kind of a slow evening, and there wasn't much to do, so he got to looking at the pictures of the various old trains around the room there, and he said, by golly, these should be in a song, and that's what he did. By the time he got home that evening, he had written a song about it, called it Railroading Song.
Won't you sing me a railroading song like my grandpa used to do when he told us the tales of his days as a brakeman on the Erie Lackawanna in the times when he rode the silver rail. Well, he'd play his guitar and he'd tell us the stories of the hobos and the freight trains that he knew. And we'd sit beneath the stars and he'd relive the glory of the great trains like the Elkhorn number 2. Now those trains are gone, but the tunes still linger on, and they play ever gently in my mind, like the K.C. Jones and the Wabash Cannonball, and the train called the old number 9. Well, old Gramps stretched the truth, but you know he was no liar. Just sometimes he'd get carried away as he'd sing of his youth and the old Dixie Flyer and the big chief they call the Santa Fe. Well, he'd heave a great sigh and he'd shed a small tear as those memories would carry him back. And if you closed your eyes, well, I'd bet you could hear them old highballs come rolling down the track. Now those trains are gone, but the tunes still linger on, and they play ever gently in my mind, like the K.C. Jones and the Wabash Cannonball, and the train called the old number 9. When I grow up, can I be an engineer? And he'd say, well, my son, I think like this old codger, the iron horse's days are numbered, so I fear. When those trains are gone, those old tunes will linger on, and they'll play ever gently in your mind, like the K.C. Jones and the Wabash Cannonball, and the wreck called the old number 9. So let's all sing a railroading song like we used to in the days when we'd pass that jug around. And we'd all sing along and we'd simply refuse to let the hard luck or the bad times get us down. So let's all sing a railroading song like we used to in the days when we'd pass that jug around. And we'd all sing along and we'd simply refuse to let the hard luck or the bad times get us down. How I love those old railroad songs. song a lot. You know, Dave and I, we have a lot of favorite types of songs, but one of our all-time favorite types of music is good time music. And I guess you could call anything that makes you feel good time music. And here's a song that makes us feel good. It's an old song that we got from the Lovin' Spoonful called Jug Band Music.
I was down in Savannah eating cream and bananas where the heat just made me faint. I began to get cross-eyed. I thought I was lost. I began to see things as they ain't. So the relatives gathered to see what's the matter, and the doctor came to see was I dying. And the doctor said, give him jug band music, it seems to make him feel just fine. I was told a little tale about a skinny as a real 6-foot cowboy with a headache. He was hung up in the desert swamping rats and trying to get a drink of water with his knees getting mud caked. They'll tell you in a sentence how he stumbled into Memphis, Tennessee, barely crawling, looking dust baked. We gave him a little water, a little bit of wine. He opened up his eyes, but they didn't seem to shine. And the doctor said, give him jug band music, it seems to make him feel just fine. So if you ever get sickly, tell your sister, run quickly to the dusty closet shelf. Pull down a washboard and play a guitar. Come on and do a little do-it-yourself. Call on your neighbors to lay down their labors and come and play the hardware in time. 'Cause the doctor said, give him jug band music, it seems to make him feel just fine. I was floating in the ocean, greased with sudden tan lotion, when I got wiped out by a beach boy. He was surfing when he hit me, but jumped off his board to get me, and he grabbed me by the arm just like a child's toy. As we staggered in the lane with all the waiters eating sandwiches and tried to mooch a towel from a hoy boy. He emptied out his eardrum, I emptied out mine, and everybody knows that the very last line is the doctor said, give him jug band music, it seems to make him feel just fine. And the doctor said, give him jug band music, it seems to make him feel just fine. Okay. One of the things that makes entertaining so interesting for Dennis and myself is the opportunity to interact with an audience. Now, we don't have much room for an audience down here, and a lot of the things that we'd like to do with them. However, we'd like to invite you down to the club on a little imaginary journey with us, and we'd like to show you a tape that we have made in one of the local restaurant nightclubs around here.
And I'd like to take this time to invite you all down to the clubs where we're currently working and just watch the credits at the end of the show for where we're presently at. And love to have you come on down and join us for an evening of fun.
So right now, put on your magic glasses and follow us to Stout and Allen Land.
We're just two simple country boys trying to make ourselves a living in a two-piece band playing in the city. Now we think the world of Merle, good old Hank and Minnie Pearl, and we think disco's slightly more than. But every night without a doubt, some John Travolta screams on out, and play some disco so I can boogie on down. So we tried to learn a few, but we just weren't getting through. I guess country boys weren't meant to play that disco sound. But we go shake your booty, shake it on down. I said shake your booty. What the hell's a booty anyways?
No, take a picture with it.
Well, we bounced around from bar to bar. We sure weren't getting very very far when I had a new idea that was pretty slick. If we learn some disco sounds, lay some country lyrics down, well, it might be the very thing to do the trick. So we learned some standard disco licks. I bought myself a disco pick and we began to play our brand new sound. Now country disco's catching on. Everybody sing along. We could have ourselves a disco hoedown. Little doggy. Yippee-yi-yay. Ride 'em, cowboy.
Nice job, Alan. Welcome to the Brickyard. I'd like to thank you all for coming out today. We're going to have more fun than humanly possible tonight.
Well, I wish I had a pencil thin mustache and I could do some cruising too.
Scat man!
I wish I had a pencil thin mustache. Remember Patrick Henry's famous speech when he said, "Give me liberty or a hot mother." Crazy words, crazy tunes, all that George would croon and swoon was. But oh yo, no.
Daddy said, son, you're going to drive me to drinking if you don't stop driving that.
I've heard the story about the hot rod race with the horse. Well, we woke up this morning, such a terrible sight to see. It seems like when I'm down, you know, them things start bugging me. I've been through some pretty hard times, but nothing like today. I wish I knew just what to do, but all I can do is say, we got fleas. In the closet, in the windows, in the kitchen, in the drawers, in the sink, in the drain, what a pain. In the carpet, in my car, we got fleas. Through the door, on the floor, in the table, in my plate, in my food, ain't they crude? Won't they ever leave me alone? We got fleas.
Spiders in the sky. Okay, one more time here. Spiders in the sky. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Listen, you folks have been really great tonight. Matter of fact, you've been so great, we'd love to take y'all home with us, but, well, as a matter of fact, why not? Why not? Hey, let's go.
We're just two simple country boys trying to make ourselves a living in a two-piece band playing in the city. Now we think the world of Pearl, good old Hank and Minnie Pearl, and we think disco's slightly more than but.
Okay, we're back live in your living room, and that was, like Dave said, a sample of our work with an audience in club work, and we would like to invite you all to come down, so be sure and check the credits out at the end of the show and see where we're playing. Right now, we'd like to do an instrumental for you. Now, we took this instrumental off of a movie called Deliverance, and in the movie, from what I understand, there was quite a spontaneous interaction on the set, and one of the cameras were going, and they had a real sharp cameraman, just like our guys down here at Cablevision, and they panned in on the guys, and it just turned out to be a real nice little jam, and it actually got left in the movie and went on to be a big hit from the movie. Now it was called Dueling Banjos. We, of course, have adapted this song, and we call it Grueling Guitars.
Okay, it's time for my favorite part of the show, and I've been the chosen one to get to introduce our soon-to-be famous talent this week. Now, our guest is a multi-talented artist. He plays 4 or 5 instruments extremely well, and he writes, and he's lived here in Orange for a number of years. So it's my pleasure to introduce Adam Speth.
Thanks. The first song is an old folk song called 9 Pound Hammer. This 9-pound hammer, it's a little too heavy for my size, but for my size, it's a long way to Holland, it's a long way to Hazard, just to get a little brew, just to get a little brew. Roll on, buddy, and make your time. I done broke down, and I can't make mine. Roll on, buddy, we'll load of coal. How can I pull when my wheels won't roll? This 9-pound hammer, it rings like silver, and it shines like gold. You can take this hammer and tote it to the captain. Tell him I'm gone, you can tell him I'm gone. Roll on, buddy, for a load of coal. How can I pull when my wheels won't roll? Roll on, buddy, and make your time. But I'm broke down, and I can't make mine. This 9-pound hammer, it weighs too heavy for my size, but for my size, it's a long way to Harlan, it's a long way to Hazard, just to get a little brew, just to get a little brew. Roll on, buddy, for your load of coal. How can I pull when the wheels won't roll? Roll on, buddy, and make your time. I done broke down, and I can't make mine. The next one's a instrumental piece put together. It's a Merle Travis type of picking, and it's called Caboose Rag.
Hey, I really enjoyed that last number, Adam.
Thanks.
Did you write that one?
Yeah, I did.
Was it for any particular project, or?
Wrote it a long time ago, and we did it just with a bunch of friends. We used to get together and do a lot of picking.
Kind of came out of a jam then, huh?
Yeah, it pretty much did. It's got a real simple progression, and it's just one of those fun things to kind of kick around with instruments.
Yeah. Well, you do a lot of writing for other people and for special projects like movies and whatnot. Why don't you tell the folks about some of those?
Well, one of the things I like to do best is doing a lot of soundtracks. I like to do soundtracks because I'm pretty lousy with words. when I'm doing a soundtrack, it gives me, or something to do with just a picture, I get to kind of create a mood with a piece of music rather than try to talk about it. And I enjoy that a lot more. I think it's a little bit easier to interpret. It is for me to listen to a piece of music and just get the mood out of a piece of music than it is to follow words. So
How do you go about, how do you put yourself in the frame, you know what I mean, when you're watching this movie, say do you get to go into the, like, people at home, I'm sure they would like to know how that's done. You know, I've seen it done a few times, but most people don't. You go into a room and you actually watch the screening, right? And then you just, how do you yourself interpret what you see on there? I know it's hard to explain, but
it can be done in lots of different ways. A lot of times will show me something, or they will just explain it to me. A lot of times I don't even see it. And then there's other times where they use quite a reservoir of different musicians, and they will go through stuff which has already been written to see if it's going to work out with what they have in
like
mind.
library music.
Right, right. And that's how most of it is actually done. A lot of times if I write a piece, I will put it in the library or a stock that they have, and if they can use it, then they will. And that's how most of the music is done, is that way, rather than creating it for the piece.
Yeah.
But it works both ways.
Yeah, right. So what are some of the shows you've written for?
Well, I've arranged for some of the banjo work for a group called Rainbow Connection, and they did the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of commercials and stuff like that. And I think most of my playing is writing commercials and doing stuff like that.
Have you done any famous commercials we might have heard on the radio?
I don't think there is any famous commercials. They come and go real quick.
Well, I'm a Pepper is pretty good. Wish I'd have written that one.
I do studio work too as well.
Yeah.
I work with different bands and stuff.
And you also teach here. Adam teaches locally, by the way. If you would wish to find out where Adam teaches, just give Cablevision a call and we'll let you know. But you teach banjo and guitar, right? Yeah. Now you've toured and played with some fairly large celebrities. I bet you were almost discovered in, and
almost
sure was a close call, right?
We'll try it again later to see what happens, maybe.
Who were those guys that you?
Well, I've done some work with Jimmy Buffett, doing some guitar work with him and warm-up acts and stuff like that.
What was that like?
Well, that was the first big show I ever did, and it was really pretty scary.
I bet.
I played a lot of clubs and dives and stuff like that, and then to walk out to people like, a crowd like that was...
How many people were in the crowd, do you think?
The first show was about, I think it was about 9,000.
9,000 as opposed
That
to...
was a small one.
90,
Yeah, that was a small one. That was my warm-up.
What was it? What was the experience like, other than just the emotional experience? I mean, in terms of, was it impersonal, as opposed to playing nightclubs, as not being?
Well, doing a show is, in a sense, it's a lot easier than doing a nightclub, because the people who come to a nightclub are there to drink, or they're there to meet different people or something like that. But when you're doing a show, people come to hear the music, so you have a much more captive audience,
right?
And they're going to respond much quicker to anything.
You've also worked with Harry Chapin, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right. Anybody else that you've toured with?
Those are the big names.
All right.
There's a lot of
those people are already
I've worked with.
Also, they were all famous people, and of course, we are still on the road up and soon to be famous, hopefully. But anyway, we're going to bring Dave out here now and do a number, all three of us together. I think we'll do an old banjo bluegrass tune for you. So if we could get Dave up here and get our stuff set up, and then we'll be right with you here.
Okay, during the interview segment of the program, you might have noticed that Adam mentioned he played a very mean banjo also. So we're going to do a little bit of that with an old traditional banjo tune called Foggy Mountain Breakdown. Well, that's going to about do it for us this week on Soon to Be Famous. We'd like to extend a special thanks to our guest, Adam Speth. And we'd like to remind you that if you would like to get in touch with him for lessons or maybe to hire him, you can get a hold of him through Sightsinger Music in Orange, or you can contact us here at Cablevision of Orange. And also, we'd like to remind you to come on down and see us at Rubens and Fullerton and be a part of our audience there. So in the meantime, we'll see you next week on Soon to Be Famous.
I've been working nightclubs now, on to 16 years. Well, I've played them all, both big and small, working for tips and beers. Well, I finally think I've paid my dues, and I guess it's safe to say that one of these days soon I'll be doing things my way. 'Cause I'm soon to be famous, top of the heap. Soon to be famous,
My autograph still cheap.
soon to be famous. You don't know me yet. I'm an up-and-coming superstar that you haven't met yet. But I'm soon to be famous. 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 Yeah, soon to be famous. Top of the heap. Soon to be famous.
My autograph is still cheap.
Soon to be famous. Well, you don't know me yet. I'm an up-and-coming superstar that you haven't met.